All right, so ready to dive into Faith of Our Fathers.
Absolutely. It's quite the thought-provoking piece.
Yeah, it really throws you right into this, well, pretty bleak future. Like, imagine living in fear of the sun.
It's a very visceral fear they're dealing with, right? Not just, oh, sunshine is bad, but the bomb, this entity.
Right, like it's some kind of, I don't know, vengeful god or something.
Which essentially it is, within the framework of their belief system.
So their religion, this bomb worship, it's all built around this fear then.
In a way, yeah. You can see how the story sets it up. The setting sun, Lucifer, the rituals.
Oh, right, like that whole high sermon thing. It's all kind of creepy when you think about it.
Ritual and fear, they're powerful tools for shaping belief systems. We see that throughout history.
It makes you wonder, in that kind of world, would you even dare to question any of it?
Well, that's what's so interesting about Michael, isn't it? He's the one who dares to poke at those beliefs.
Yeah, he calls it all evil traditions, right? Pretty risky move when everyone else is terrified of the sun going down.
It takes incredible courage to question something so deeply ingrained, especially when it's tied to survival.
So he's like the ultimate rebel then, going against the grain even if it puts him in danger.
Well, he does seem driven by logic, by what he observes. Like that whole thing with the coyote.
Oh, yeah, that was key. He sees it surviving in daylight and it's like, boom, his proof.
His evidence against their deeply held beliefs, which, of course, doesn't go over so well.
And that's where the story takes that dark turn. He disappears.
And when he's found, well, let's just say, Firesmith doesn't sugarcoat it.
Those descriptions of his condition, the burns, it's brutal, intense.
It's meant to be. It drives home the cost of dissent in this world. The stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah, and then you've got Preacher twisting it all around.
Seizing the opportunity, you could say. Using Michael's fate to reinforce his authority.
Classic power move, right? See what happens to those who question.
It's a pattern we see throughout history, sadly. Fear and control often go hand in hand.
And Samuel's caught right in the middle of it, his friend's fate. It's got to mess with her head.
Absolutely. It challenges everything he thought he knew, makes him question his own beliefs, even if he doesn't want to.
So that's kind of the setup then, this really unsettling atmosphere of fear and blind faith, and Samuel's stuck trying to make sense of it all.
Exactly. And that internal struggle, that's what Firesmith really explores in the rest of the story. It's like his brain is like short-circuiting almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, trying to hold on to what he's always believed, but then, bam, reality hits you in the face.
Cognitive dissonance, it's called.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. And it can make people do, well, kind of crazy things sometimes.
So clinging to those beliefs even tighter, it's a defense mechanism.
In a way, yeah. It's easier than facing the really tough questions, like, what if everything you thought you knew was wrong?
Especially in that setting, right? The silo, the flickering lights.
Oh, absolutely. Firesmith's really deliberate with his imagery. It's like almost cathedral-like, but like warped.
Totally. Like a cathedral of fear. And Preacher, he's up there, like, conducting the whole show.
With Michael as the example.
Right. This is what happens when you doubt. Chilling.
Yeah. And you see it land on Samuel, too. You can tell he's messed up about Michael, but
there's that fear, too. Like, is he going to be next if he doesn't get back in line?
it's heartbreaking, honestly. He's lost his friend, his faith is shaken, and now he's supposed to just accept this.
So what do you think? Was Samuel ever truly a believer? Or was it all just going through the motions until it got real?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, Firesmith doesn't give us easy answers.
Yeah.
That's what makes this story so good.
Yeah, it makes you think about your own beliefs, too. What would you do in that situation?
It's easy to say, oh, I'd be the one questioning everything. But when the stakes are that high.
Yeah, when it's not just about what you believe, but, like, actual life or death.
And the thing is, it's not always some external threat, right? Sometimes the biggest threat to our beliefs comes from within.
From that little voice that says, wait a minute, this doesn't add up.
Exactly. And silencing that voice. That could be the hardest thing of all.
It's kind of like we tell ourselves stories to make sense of the world, you know? Especially when the world's gone nuts.
Absolutely. It's a way to create order out of chaos. Problem is, sometimes those stories, they can trap us too.
And then you get stuck in this loop, right? Like Samuel chanting away in that silo.
Firesmith leaves us with that image. Doesn't tell us what to think. Just makes you feel it.
Yeah, it's unsettling. Is it peace he's found or just resignation? Like he's given up on even trying to understand anymore.
That's the question, right? Where does belief end and blind obedience begin?
Heavy stuff. So after all this, what's the takeaway? What can we learn from this whole messed up world Firesmith's created?
Maybe it's about being more critical. of everything, the stories we hear, the ones we tell ourselves.
You mean like not just accepting things at face value?
Exactly. Asking those uncomfortable questions. Why do I believe this? Who benefits from me believing it?
So, like Michael did with the coyote, looking for evidence, even when it's scary.
In a way, yeah. Because blind faith,
Yeah.
that's how we end up trapped in someone else's story, someone else's silo.
And in this day and age, with so much information flying around, it's easy to get caught up in that, to just shut down and accept whatever we're told.
Which is why stories like this are so important. They make us think critically, challenge our assumptions.
Yeah, remind us that doubt, questioning, it can be a good thing. Essential, even.
Absolutely. Because sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is to think for yourself.
Well said. Well, that was quite the deep dive. A bit bleak, sure, but important nonetheless. Until next time, everyone, keep those minds open and questioning.